What's up, everybody? I'm Justin Maytat, and I'm joined here with my sister, Melissa McCack,
Hey, everybody.
and we are Room 51, podcast where we talk all things board gaming. Today, we're joined with another special guest of ours, another one of Room 51's social media extraordinaires, Caitlin Berkey.
Hello.
And today, we're going to be doing another, and I believe our last Meet the Team episode, where we've just been meeting different members of Team Room 51. And like I said before, Caitlin Berkey is one of our social media extraordinaires, mainly on the Twitter side of things. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about what you do for Room 51?
So I'm really new to the team, but I mainly work with Josette on the Twitter. So it's basically like coming up with all the puns that everybody sees, all the like hopefully funny jokes, and just mainly kind of that's all I do.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
know Josette came to me saying, hey, Caitlin, friend, she does Twitter stuff, social media, whatever. And I was just like, yes, please.
Oh yeah.
Anybody. We need help. Pronto.
I had like a year-long internship with like where I did social media, but like it was all about wine mom memes basically.
God,
So that's kind of where I'm starting.
Great.
interesting.
Small
I,
pivot, but
Yeah,
this
just a
is a lot
slight
of fun.
shift.
A little bit.
I
Tiny.
know I enjoy the puns and stuff that I read on our social media, which is cool. I really liked the last one that me and Melissa were talking about was the social deduction one for the Friday favorites that we've been doing, and the social deduction one with Sherlock reference. I liked that a lot.
That was kind of why I picked it. I was like, if I can get a BBC Sherlock reference somewhere, we're doing it.
Yes.
That's
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I definitely cracked up on that one. There's been a couple that I actually cracked up on. I was like, yeah, that's ours.
Yeah.
we're funny.
Caitlin, what is sort of, we asked Josette what her vision is for Twitter, for Room 51. What is sort of your vision for where you would like Twitter to go for our content creation?
Um, I think Twitter's like a really cool. Like I love Twitter personally, just because of like all the conversations you catch going on, and there are different communities in everywhere. So it's like I'm usually like in the meme kind of video game space, and like board gaming I feel is like such a different space.
Mhm.
So it's kind of cool how everybody's building up on each other. So I think it's like building that community on Twitter. Like I see a lot of people like asking for gaming suggestions for my kids or like gaming suggestions here. So I like that sense of community that they have there. So like if we could keep building that for Room 51, like if we could be somewhere you come where you like get your gaming info, like suggestions or just conversations like that. I think that's kind of one of my favorite things is like we started Friday favorites because like we wanted to
Yeah.
build conversations. So it's like we want to hear what your favorite game is, but also like what don't you like or like what do you like and kind of that. So just if we can keep building that community and like reaching out to maybe indie developers and getting them involved and getting more
Mhm.
recognition there, like that'd be really cool. So I think that's kind of community and like building up recognition for games.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely know I really enjoy giving board game recommendations. I really like it when a friend asks me for a recommendation, and even on Facebook sometimes I'll see a post asking for recommendations. Like, I need a six-player game that I can buy on Amazon that's really easy to learn, and I immediately am like, down for it. Like, absolutely. All right, awesome.
Well, it's interesting because originally our thought was to open up a board game cafe, and it
Yeah.
was going to be called Meeple's Cabin. And we wanted to do that, and I think part of that was because I also personally loved making recommendations, getting people excited about games, and just watching or getting involved with people playing games. And I guess that's where the whole store thing came from. And then we're doing content creation. We're sort of doing a lot of the same things, really. And I think that a lot of what everybody has been saying that's been coming on for Meet the Team, we want to build a community. I think that's really what it's all about. And I'm totally for that. I'm like, yes, build the community, talk about board games, live, breathe, and love board games. That's really what it's all about for me. So that's cool.
Yeah, because it's like social media. Like social media makes it easy to be like, "Hey, I love this thing, and I'm throwing it out into the ether. If someone responds, that's awesome because now I have that connection there." So I think social media is like great to like get involved and like talk about all your interests and find the people that like your weirdly niche stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because social media, I think a lot of times does get a bad rap and it's viewed as, and I do think that there are, with most things or like most things, there's a negative including for social media. And one thing that's kind of cool about this Meet the Team and talking to our social media extraordinaires is I think we've kind of seen the good side to it and like, the light,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
The
I think
light.
we've definitely we've gone through the pros of social media, so.
Yeah, the dark parts will leave, but we're trying
Once all
to.
you guys are off, like we're done with the Meet the Team, me and Melissa just send you like, all right, roll for thought. Why we hate social media? Well, Caitlin makes people feel bad.
I'm just trying to spread puns. That's it.
Okay, cool. So, Kaylin, actually, how did you get into the whole hobby of board gaming and whatnot?
Okay, so I'm an only child.
Oh, Josette, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my board games, like where I started, my base was like mm, Disney Monopoly, Trivial Pursuit, and Clue, but Simpsons edition. Very
oh,
important distinction. And that was like kind of it for me because like I played with my cousins, and if they weren't around, I wasn't playing board games.
Yeah.
So from there, it grew like I started watching series. So like Game Grumps did a tabletop series basically, and
mhm.
I was like, oh, there's a whole different revenue beyond just video games. Like board
Oh
games
yeah.
are awesome. So didn't really like play them, but I watched them more so. And then eventually like tabletop simulator came out. So that's where I started like, okay, every board game I've ever watched, I want to play it now. So like
Nice.
then
Okay.
I started to play there,
Very
and then I
cool.
met you guys, and you opened up a whole new world. I was like, oh, this is crazy. So yeah, that's kind of like started there. Family got a little into board games, but not so much the big stuff, mostly like dominoes and little things there. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
that's the biggest thing.
I love how you mentioned specifically Disney Monopoly because we were
Yeah.
just talking about that with Eileen, our sister, how that was one of our first board games was Disney Monopoly, and that's really what kind of started this whole trajectory, and now here we are.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But it's interesting too how you and Gisette sort of had this. Yeah, we watched board games, and then we went to the digital form of board games
Yeah.
to get into it because hey, I'm an only child, all these things. It's very interesting, and I hadn't quite heard about that before. So it's kind of cool to hear about it now from the both of you.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think it was just because I was watching a lot like video games and board games seem to like go hand in hand because if like you're watching a content creator that's playing video games, they're most likely also playing board games.
Mm.
So it was like easy to transition that way. And then like a lot of D&D podcasts also came out. So it's like
Yeah.
Hmm.
I personally have never played D&D. God, do I love hearing everybody else play it.
D&D
So
podcasts
I
are super popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
yeah, I was listening to three at a time, and everybody at my job was like, "How is that
Yeah.
interesting?" I'm like, "The story, I don't know."
That's pretty
Um,
much what it is, right? There's
Yeah.
storytelling. You're listening to a story unfold, and it's entertaining in it of itself.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's just fun to hear how like I might play it this way, but other people are playing it that way. So I always like make a list like this person played this game, so I will also play it eventually.
That's how I
Awesome.
started. I was watching the Dice Tower, and they would just talk about all these games, and I would listen to them talk about it all day long for years before I actually started playing those games. 'Cause for whatever reason, I had this weird notion in my head of like, oh, I can't play those games. Like I'm not special enough to play such games. These people, they could play them, and I could listen to them do that. It wasn't until very recently where I really started the binge of like getting games and playing all these different sort of games where I was like, what is wrong with me? Of course I can play these games too. I just got to go to the store and get them
Yeah.
or Amazon, whatever.
No,
Yeah.
I
There's
totally
something about it that just seems so out of reach. Like when you're first watching, getting into it. You're right. There
no,
really is
I
something there.
agree because like one of my first like big moments of into board gaming was when I bought Werewolf. I was like, I don't know who's gonna play with me. I don't have like that many people that would want to play it. So I was like, let me just buy it. Eventually, I'll get to it. Like I think it took me couple months until like I brought it to you guys. I'm like, please, I just want to play this.
And it
it
was
like
fun.
best.
Yeah.
I got way too into it. If I got the jester, everybody knew I was the jester because I was acting like the
Yeah.
jester. I wasn't even playing to win anymore.
Oh yeah, the pure chaos that comes with that game is one of my reasons why I love it.
Awesome.
It's great. I actually just spoke about that on a recent board game breakfast episode.
Huh.
Ooh,
I compared it to Town of Salem.
Yeah.
perfect.
I
Too
know
much.
Caitlin's totally about that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that the moment is here, people. Our 3 for 3. The moment we've all been waiting for.
I got the timer.
I guess this is going to be our last 3 for 3 specifically because this is our last Meet the Team
Yeah.
segment. But this is, for those who are familiar, this is based off of our 5 for 5s that we do on the podcast, where we pick some sort of random topic, which I have here. We don't know what it is. And we have, in the 5 for 5s, 5 minutes to come up with our top 5 list for that topic. In here, we're going to come up with our top 3 lists in 3 minutes for this topic. Are people ready?
Let's do it up.
Let's go.
Here we go. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, okay, cool. Interesting. So this is going to be our top 3 list of games that make you feel like you created something.
Ooh.
Okay.
Make you feel like you've created something. Is the timer starting?
Yes, do. Sorry
Ah!
about that.
Oh
This is a
no.
little tough too.
This
I
one's
feel
a little
like
tricky.
Josette and Caitlin got the toughest ones.
I think so too.
I hope I'm not taking this a direction you guys absolutely are not going in, but
No.
Hey
yeah.
man, you do you.
You. Yeah. Oh well.
Damn.
Definitely this one. This one is numero unos.
I feel like I know one that you might be thinking of, Melissa, but I'm not positive.
Definitely Tiny Towns.
I know you're not thinking
You know, I
of
thought
that
I would have an easier time with this. You know what it is? That there's a few games where I'm like, yeah, that could hit it. Oh, I almost wish we did a top 5 on
Ooh.
this, but like maybe we'll do this some other time, like a top 10 list.
Yeah, this should be an interesting one. This is actually a category that I'd like to get, I think, more games that give this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's one that we both really liked.
Yeah, I love that. I love when I
Yeah.
feel like, look at what I've made.
Yeah.
And it's usually very like, I don't even care if I've won. It's just, but look at what I've made. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
How much time do we have?
55 seconds.
Shoot.
Oh, no. I only have like 2.
I might make
There's
it.
a game I'm forgetting. That's what's killing me. I know that there's a game I'm forgetting. 15 seconds, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I have that feeling too, where I'm like, there's something, and I'm not writing it, but I hope somebody else does. That way I could be like, yes. Oh no.
That
Blah.
one, yeah.
You guys have
Same.
stumped me. I only like have things that are like
Time.
kind of.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Here we go. So let's do rock paper scissors to see who gets to choose the order
All right.
of who's gonna, whatever, reveal their list. Everybody ready?
Suit up.
Pens down, Justin. Enough.
I did number them.
Rock, paper, scissors, says, shoot.
Nobody wins.
Nope. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, says, shoot.
Shoot. Caitlin's out.
Caitlin's out. Rock, paper, scissors, says, shoot.
Shoot. That right.
No.
Wow.
Ah.
It is so hard to do this virtually too, because everybody's like on a little bit
I'm
of a
like
lag.
waiting.
I'm like, rock, paper.
All right. I'm gonna go first. I'll go first.
Okay.
Caitlin second, Melissa third.
Okay.
All right. So my number 3 pitch is, I mean, I have one hint for it that's super obvious. It's the game that Melissa hates. Tiny Towns. Honestly, I'm not super pleased with my list. I ranked them with the ones that give the most feeling of creating something. And I just know that I'm missing games I shouldn't think of. Because I know that there are games that give me this feeling more. But Tiny Towns is one that kind of gives it to me. It gives me also a clever feeling while creating my little town. I do wish it would feel a little more like you're creating a town, but I think it still does a
So do
pretty good
I.
job. It still makes me feel creative, but it definitely feels more clever than creative. So that's why I was my number 3, Tiny Towns. I love this game.
If I want to feel like I've created nothing, I play Tiny Towns.
Shut up. Shut up.
I only know this game through this rivalry, so I'm like, wow, this game must be so something involved.
All right, Caitlin, what is your number 3 pick?
Okay, so mine kind of don't make sense, but kind of my third one, I did Fun Employed, because I was kind of going for the thing where you're like creating a meaning to what you're doing, basically. So you're kind of just trying to get your card and you're giving the explanation of like why you deserve it. Fun Employed was like the last of my list though, so it gets better.
What's the game called?
Fun Employed, I think.
I've
Fun
never played that
Employed.
one.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's basically like you're applying to a job and you're trying to get that job. So it's like you put two words together and you're just basically like, could be explaining this incorrectly, but basically you're just trying to get a job at the end of the day. So you're just kind of creating like what is your purpose and like why you deserve it.
Huh. Oh, cool.
Okay, cool.
Interesting. Sweet. I kind of want to try that game. My number 3, so I ranked my list in order of how much I get that feeling of I have created something and I feel good about it. Okay. So my number 3 is it's Millennium Blades, where you are enacting as though you're living in a world where you're a famous CCG player. And the CCG is called Millennium Blades, and you're constructing your deck that you're going to take into tournaments. You're also constructing your collection that could also give you points and things like that for the game. I love this game. It's a real time strategy game, and you play it in a series of 3 different tournaments, and I have an absolute blast. It's pretty much set collection at the end of the day, but I feel like, yeah, that's my deck that I've created. Nobody could beat it. I mean, usually everybody beats it, but it's still mine.
Yeah, that one hit my short list. The fact that we have 3 minutes, there are 2 that hit my short list, and that's one of them. The other's 3 that hit my short list, and honestly, they might have taken all 3 spots if on any given day, and that was one of them for sure. All right, cool. I respect that pitch.
Thank y'all.
So my number 2 is Tokyo Highway. Tokyo Highway. Um, it's essentially a game where you'll like place a building for a certain level, and you have to then connect a road to. I think it has to be like one level down or something. I forget exactly actually the rules on how low the road can be. But there's a few rules about placing your roads and whatnot, and what can give you points, and then you have to balance your car on and everything. And I really, I think the game is funny and wacky, and it's good. Like he did the little tweezers and everything too. It's a lot of fun for me, and it's also one of those games that you collectively build something, which I think is pretty cool. And I think by the end, you have something that looks pretty damn cool, right? It looks like you, but it also looks like a mess in a really cool and clean way, and I really like that. So that's why I put it in as my number 2, Tokyo Highway.
There is nothing clean from that game that I feel. I feel like it usually just looks like a mess.
Yeah, that's messy at the end, but like I feel like because it uses gray in a cool way, in my opinion.
It does, yeah.
Makes it look clean. I don't know. There's something like stylish about it.
Cleanness.
Fair.
All right. Again, I totally took this a different way, but I put like my 2 was Town of Salem, and I put Werewolf in here as well. Listen, hold on.
I'll hit you
Oh,
with it.
I'm waiting, boy.
I got you.
So I kind of take it as like when you're playing Town of Salem, especially like you create a different role. Like you might be the mafioso, but now I'm the doctor and I'm trying to create this person. And basically, you're trying to stay within like I'm the doctor now, but also I'm killing everybody on the side. So like I think it's that kind of sense of I'm talking to the jailer now and saying, hey, I was on you last night. Like this is what I did. And then kind of in that essence. So again, creating the different role that you are. And
Okay. I actually kind of like that. I've definitely had games where I've pretended to be like the doctor. That's like my general go-to. and then like you post your will and like people don't believe the actual doctor and stuff, like things like that.
Yeah,
I feel you on that.
thank you.
Yeah. I think Werewolf lends itself to creating stories
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Exactly. So it's like, where can I create like the suspicion on someone else? Because I'm the bad person, but I want
Mm.
it on them. So I'm creating like a mess, essentially.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
All right.
All
That's
right.
that's an interesting thing. Interesting thought. Okay, cool. Well, my number 2 is another real-time strategy game. It is frantic, it is wacky, crazy, doesn't go well for everybody, but I'm talking about Galaxy Trucker. Now,
Yeah.
I almost didn't put it on the list because in Galaxy Trucker, you create your ship, right? That you're taking off into the galaxy to deliver goods and things. But it gets absolutely obliterated by space stuff. So part of me was like, look what I've look at what I've made, and then it just gets totally wrecked and falls apart. But at the same time, I personally don't care. I'm still like, yeah, but that's what I made. And then even if I have just a limping truck limping across that finish line, it's like, yeah, because I made that thing. It was able to survive, baby. So I like that sense of creativity in terms of like what my truck is going to look like, what I'm going to have. I'm going to have all these shields and all these batteries and whatever. Um, and then if it ultimately survives, cool, I made that thing. If it ultimately dies, crap, but I made that thing, you know? Um, so that is my number 2, Galaxy Trucker. Love this game to pieces.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I love Galaxy Trucker also, and that's the other one that made my short list. That and also Dinosaur Island did. But so Galaxy Trucker in those 3 minutes, I I decided like, no, it doesn't hit the list because it gets obliterated. So it's like I don't get to appreciate it long enough. But then any given day, Galaxy Trucker, Millennium Blades, Dinosaur Island could have hit the list. I
Hmm.
I don't know.
Dinosaur Island actually slipped my mind. I don't know if it would have made the list, but that's a good one too.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Also, just like a quick, uh, I guess, nod to a lot of engine building games. Like I even consider Wingspan because like you get to build an engine and you get proud of your engine. Like you
That's
become really
true.
proud of the engine that you created. Even in a Euro game that's not engine building, and you're really proud of like the actions you were deciding to do and whatnot, and how they like each are lending themselves to the other, and you
Mm-hmm.
keep building up from it. That can feel like you really created something cool. Yeah. So my number one though, this hit my number one because of aesthetics, and I think the concept of the game is really cool, and what you have at the end is really cool. It's a game where you're building a planet, and it's called Planet. uh, First of all, I think the game is a lot of fun. I think if you like King Domino, you're probably gonna like this game, and even if you don't like King Domino, I suggest trying it still. But it has that similar concept of paying attention to the oceans you're connecting, the desert or sand. I forget actually what they call those lands, the beige lands, and the brown lands together, and things like that. Which I really liked. I think that you wind up with something that looks really pretty, and then plus there's a lot of nice decision making on what you're doing when trying to get each animal that comes out, because you want the animals to inhabit your planet, and you want yours to be the most habitable for these different animals and whatnot. So I think the game is cool. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's really pretty, and just being able to hold this planet in your hand is just awesome for me. Like, so that's when it really feels like you created it. Yeah. So that was kind of a shoe-in for my number one, actually.
Interesting. I didn't think of that game. I haven't played the game, but I didn't
Right.
think of it as one that would hit your list. I was actually wondering if you thought of Magic the Gathering.
That could have been, oh, that would have been a good one for creating your deck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. That one kind of slipped my mind. If I would have thought about that,
Idiot.
yeah, idiot. Oh,
Buffoon.
all right, awesome.
I'll allow it.
All right. Totally dunked on it, but we'll allow it. Okay. Now that I'm hearing you guys talking about like I made this beautiful thing and I'm just here like faking it. I really like this one I'm with because I like playing this like I might add a thing to it, but I picked snake oil because it's basically like you're creating new products and little things. And what I like to do is like I make little jingles for mine when I'm about to like propose my product. So like all of a sudden it becomes way too real for me, and I'm like, wow, I really want this lawnmower thing that I made a stupid little jingle for, and I become like the commercial for it. So I create like a whole production when I'm like going for it, and when I don't win, sad. But at least I get a commercial out of it, and maybe I'll make an invention out of it.
That
Cool.
actually sounds awesome. That is something too, right? Because like with some of these games, you could still feel like you're creating something because you put yourself in it and you really like go
Yeah.
all out and you
Yeah.
give yourself over into that game,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then when like you're getting ready to pitch yourself, like I get so invested. I'm like, they're gonna love this. Like this is my idea, my IP. You can't steal it.
Yeah, that's cool. I even thought for a moment about something like charades or Pictionary, how you might have done a really tough clue that you have to give, and then you do something that really like blows people and like it just really nails it or something, and like, wow, I did awesome with that. I'm really proud of myself right there. And that might have been able to fit this. I mean, I haven't played either game in a while. Oh, I guess I did play Pictionary recently. But yeah, that like kind of hit my mind for a second. I was like, so I feel you on that. That was a nice pick.
What was it called?
Snake oil.
Snake oil. Got it.
It's basically 2 words, put them together. That's your product.
Alright,
Okay.
cool.
You seem to be into those kind of things.
Yeah.
They fit this criteria for me.
Fantastic. All right. Well, my number one is a game that I absolutely adore. And it is a sandbox sort of game, Euro worker placement, and I'm talking about Caverna,
Yeah.
where you are creating either you're a dwarf going around doing these things. You could create your farm if you want to. It could be that you're growing a whole bunch of crops. You could be somebody who's grabbing a whole bunch of animals, having a little animal farm, or maybe a little bit of both. Or you could be like really working on your cave system where you dwell and live, and you could go mining. You could have donkeys. I don't know. You could have it all, baby. Um, you could have a huge family if you wanted to. You could have a small family, whatever it might be. Like you are creating your own little dwarven story, right? And what kind of place you want to live in. Do you want to have that farm? Do you want to have the cave? What kind of rooms do you want in your cave? You know, it's just so awesome and I love it. And by the end of it, I honestly do not care if I won. Most games I don't really care if I've won, but this one especially, I'm just like, I don't care. Look at what I made, man. This is cool, you know. So that is my number one, Caverna.
Very nice. Yeah, I knew that one was gonna hit your list. I'm not shocked that's your
Yeah,
number one.
that was
Yeah.
my number one. Like I was like Caverna, and what's next?
And
You
then
know.
everything else.
I just haven't played it in forever. I want to replay it honestly because I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I just haven't played it in forever.
One game that did hit my short list that I'm just gonna mention quickly was Seven Wonders.
I thought about that one too.
Yeah, it almost made my list. It was actually the second game I wrote, and it didn't make it. But that's another one where I feel like I've built this sort of civilization. I am so bad at this game.
That one I don't get that feeling from really.
Really?
That's why I didn't put it down. And honestly, it might just be because lately with Seven Wonders, I've been very focused on winning because I haven't won the game yet, and I played like 5 times. And I think that's enough. There are a couple of games that I've played like 5 or 6 times, and I've come in second each time. And I think Seven Wonders is one that I've come in second like 4 times, and it starts to hurt a little bit. You think like you got a really good score at the end, because I generally don't care too much about winning, and I got like a really good score at the end. I'm feeling all good about myself, and then it's just like, and somebody beat me by 3 points, and
It
it
was
keeps
stolen.
happening. It keeps happening, and it's
They
like,
keep stealing it from
okay,
you.
they
Well,
really do.
I come in last place like almost all the
Oh,
time,
it's
so
hysterical.
but
Oh,
I've built a civilization,
Yeah.
so
you love
The
your
first time
family.
we played Endeavor, that was the best.
we won't talk about that.
We've talked about that a couple times, actually.
We have actually.
Yeah, that's still my favorite though.
All right. Well, this has been another Meet the Team. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Melissa McCack. You could also follow our Facebook page called Room 51. Let us know what's your top 3 games that you feel like, yeah, I've created something in this one. You've been listening to Room 51. We did it!
Woo!
Woo!